Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is LolaAjisafe if you don't know, and today we're going to be reviewing Put a Ring on It. This is now where season 2, we're at episode 8. Wow, we're getting towards the end. And we just started this on a whim to see how we'd like this, and I feel like there are a couple of things that we've learned. And this episode was a big one. So let's dig into it. Housekeeping rules, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, subscribe. All right, so the title of this episode, still on the theme of vision of marriage, we are now addressing a point: sabotage. Vision of marriage, sabotage. Let's see. So we're going to start with the first couple, Jessica and Eric. Now the assignment, of course, was their vision of marriage, and so I think Jessica starts about how she believes for her vision of marriage is having each other's back, loving passionately. They've got their little views. And then, of course, then we get, the real. And what's the real here? Apparently Mother's Day had passed and Eric didn't acknowledge it at all. Not with a card, with a raven, a little note, a pigeon, a penny, a coin, not a, nothing. An elf, nothing came to the door. Nobody said Happy Mother's Day. She didn't get like, a little a mousse cup, a yogurt cup, nothing came. And she felt some kind of way about it. And for her, she goes on to explain, she's, adopted, doesn't know her biological mother. I guess she was raised by her aunt. So family's a big thing for her. And so the way he approaches it is making her feel maybe second guess. Like, is he really what I want? If he doesn't feel this way, if he couldn't acknowledge Mother's Day, because being a mother is so important to me. If he can't acknowledge that and actually hear me, because he's coming, instead of saying, sweetie, I messed up. I forgot, or it's hard to say I forgot, but sometimes you could just lay on the ground and prostrate. That's what we say as Nigerians. When you mess up, just lay down, face down, like, forgive me, I'm sorry. Because sometimes trying to explain away the crime you made is taking away from the energy of the apology. Because truth is, you messed up. He messed up. Mother's Day is about the only holiday, particularly if you're not in like a great, union, or you don't have someone who considers you all the time. Mother's the only day in that year where someone might acknowledge the superwoman stuff you've been doing. Because a lot, being a mother, woman, a lot of times a thankless job. And if you were to pay someone or put someone else in that position, what you do, then you realize and it's not a joke, real work. And do that still looking, keep staying apart, doing this, doing that. It's from the heart. It's not something that you can just, pay. And so the fact that he didn't acknowledge it, and the fact that he's still trying to defend it, that he wanted to plan something, but it didn't go. Eric, at this point, take away from that. I could just lay down on the floor and say, Jessica, I'm sorry. That's just my 2 cents. Eric wants another kid. Jessica's not interested. Long and short. Sounds almost like a non-negotiable for him. They've been together 4 years, I believe. I don't know why they haven't had this conversation before. Because Jessica's, I feel like Jessica knows that she doesn't want to have another kid. She feels like she knows. Let me put it like that. Not to say if it was a mistake or, she got pregnant and she may not keep it, but at this point, she's not saying willingly that she's going to go about trying to have another baby. She's not in that space. Eric is in that space that he wants to. That's going to be a conversation they're going to really need to have. That's a real conversation. Jessica goes on a date with Sean. They go through that iFly thing that's here. I think it's on Cobb Park or something. Anyway, they go for the iFly thing, What I liked about it was cute. I need to try that. I actually want to try that. I don't know when, but I'm definitely going to try it. But then what I thought was cute was like she went first. And he was really hyping her up, like really excited. I thought that was cute. Like, you know how they say, how the kids say, if you're not hyping me up like that, I don't want no piece of you. Like, if your friends are like that, like if you got friends like that. So if you got a girl like that, a guy like that, that's hyping you up, and then if you're not hyping me up like that, then you're not my guy. I don't want you. Like, that's how it felt. Like, he was really excited for her. The fact that she was doing it and she really looked to be enjoying herself and doing it well. That was the only thing that, occurred to me. And then after that, everything went downhill for me, not necessarily for her. And let me tell you why I felt like everything went downhill. So they get talking after he's done his little fly thing and stumbles. Didn't really work for him. Maybe it's not his thing. That's okay. And he talked about, this is the best day of his life. Okay. All right. This is the third date. Now I know there's this thing where a man meets someone he knows, but this is not that scenario, sir, because you met her with someone. Not to say they can't in the future, but I don't know, like best day of my life is laying it on a little too thick. I know when someone is love bombing you, which is what it looks like he's doing, it's worrying because stuff is not in place for that. It's just not time yet. All right, so we go into the namaste circle discussion. You know, the baby thing comes up, but now it seems like Jessica has tapered what she's saying. She's saying she doesn't want to really address it until they do step by step. She wants to do one thing at a time. Get married and do this. Sis, I'm going to need you to be very clear. Will you do it again or not? Because that's important for a relationship. Because that's a very big thing. It's a really big thing. Are you going to let yourself get pregnant to have another kid for this man or not? Because if you're not, don't last for the ring. All right, going into Sean and LaRonda. LaRonda's gone on a second date with the dude, Derek, the guy who she felt was a little older. I don't know what older is to her, but he don't look that old to me. Anyway, you know, there's something I'm getting from him, his energy. He's like, he's ready. He's in that space where he meets someone who he thinks is special. He's ready to get married, and that's the thing with guys. Sometimes a woman can make a man ready, but a lot of the time, the man has to be in that headspace and be ready. And whoever he meets where he's in that space, you know, going to the altar. From my observation, I'm neither a counselor nor a guy, but from my observation, it seems that a lot of times you meet a guy who is not ready. He could be the best guy ever, but if he's not ready to go that distance, he's going to mess up. He's going to sabotage shit. This is the title of this thing is marriage, sabotage. He's going to sabotage the relationship because he's not ready. But this, and that's the thing, and I think that's something that, you know, we have to kind of look out for as women, is like, you know, you're with someone, is that person that headspace? Because it's like, okay, if you're dating with someone, and I've done a couple lives about this, dating with intention, when you're trying to go towards marriage, you don't have to state your intention, look at this, but you definitely want to be intentional. Is this person, along the things that you get to know this person ready or interested in taking a relationship further than just playing on Netflix and chill? Because if he's not, you can do somersaults on top of all you want. It's not going anywhere. So I bring this up to say that I'm not saying that, you know, LaRonda should go for him, but it's like to note when you're with someone, that's a big thing to always. Probably, I don't know if you can ask it, because sometimes people tell you what they want, what they think you want to hear. So I think a lot of times it's like you seeing it, paying attention to it, watching it. It's not very hard to, if you're paying attention with your eyes open, Nigerians always say keep your eyes, shine your eyes. If you're paying attention, it's not hard to see. Because sometimes you can ask people questions and they're not sincere and authentic. They're going to give you the answer they think you want to hear, likely lie to you. But it's like if you're paying attention, you know if this person is in that space and ready to take a relationship further. It doesn't mean that you guys are going to make it all the way, but it simply means, is he even an option? Is he even ready to, you know, go in that direction? Because if he's not ready to go in that direction, then what are we talking about here? You know? They get talking about ultimatums for some reason, and so I don't know if Derek is sensing that maybe, you know, LaRonda is saying that Sean is not, kind of has not some hesitancy, and he's talking about, you know, he feels like if a man is with the woman he wants, he'll do what he needs if he has limited time. He'll do what needs to be done if the time is limited. So in other words, is he saying that ultimatums work? I don't know. What I'm getting is, he's saying if the guy, and that's the same thing with this space thing, if he's in the right space, he may not be rushing, but if there's a certain amount of time, if he has a time frame or a deadline or something needs to be met, and he knows that he's in that space and this woman has the things that he wants, he's not going to wait 6, 7, 8, 10 years to take her down the altar. That's what I think I'm getting from him. Now, in terms of ultimatums, I don't feel like ultimatums are great, because I can only speak for myself. And if you give me ultimatum, I'm likely to do the opposite, because it's like, who are you giving the ultimatum? I don't know, I just can't explain it. So I'm feeling that's how a guy would feel. Like, you're telling me by 6 o'clock, if you don't do this, blah. Yes, sis, don't come at me like that. You can state your case and then leave it. That's why I don't necessarily think, I don't know how, ultimatums is not something, it's not a tool that I would, let me put it like this, using an ultimatum, say if you don't do it by this time, may not be a thing, but you could definitely say that, you know, my interest is up to this point. Let him infer the conclusion, Because when you use the terminology and actually make it an ultimatum, it seems more aggressive and less likely for a person to respond to that level of aggression. I'm sorry, I can't put it any other way. I just personally would not respond to an ultimatum in a manner that you would, a person who's setting the ultimatum would appreciate. You won't like my response if you give me ultimatums. You won't like it. Sean and Loranda go over this. The assignment, of course, is their vision of marriage. They're going over it. Okay, so I think they're gonna agree destination wedding. What kind of surprised me is Sean talk about, groomsmen. I've never seen a man. Okay, it depends, okay, because Nigerians, we like to have these elaborate weddings. So maybe men do want to have elaborate weddings. I don't know, but typically they always say the wedding's for the woman. But anyway, Sean talking about groomsmen. He's talking about like he wants a big wedding. And then get to the kids. Brad said he wants 7 kids, and I'm just gonna ask him that, sir, are you the one pushing out 7 kids? Are you going to push out 7 kids? Because you just requesting the kids like you just get them from a letterbox. Because 7 kids is one thing, It's not just to feed them, to clothe them, to make sure their education is on point, but to actually provide the time and attention they require. 7 kids is not a joke. As Nigerians say, 7 kids is no small beans. It's no small deal and it's no small feat. So it's just talking about it theoretically might sound like all nice and funny. You might actually like kids because you can be playful, but there's more to raising the kids than playing with them. Playing with them, being with them is part of it, yes. But there's a whole other thing surrounding it. So you have to balance to talk about divorce. Sean says he doesn't like those, blind sweep that we're never going to get divorced, because he does feel there's situations where things can be toxic, where you shouldn't just stay in it to be in it. I'm with him on that. Like, I'm going to stay in for the kids. I'm going to do this. Yeah, you might just be there, keeping the kids there to be damaged. I'm not taking it lightly, and I haven't, but those blind sweeping statements about, I'm going to stay in it to death do us part is ideal, but there's some situations where don't do it. So anyway, they do their namaste circle. The kids thing comes up. Everyone's kind of, just kind of watching, because even Dr. Nicole says 7. I know 7 sounds like a lot. Like, who's, if you have those one by one, who's trying to push down 7 kids? And then he puts a number on the groomsmen he wants. He wants 13 groomsmen. Okay, he sounds like, this is not Bridezilla. You heard about Bridezilla. This is like Groomzilla. 13? Okay. She wants an intimate wedding. Sound like he wants a big wedding. These are all fine. The truth is, these are all fine points. They've got a whole lot of stuff they need to work through before they get to this point. So we are now leading into Darion and Alexia. We know, of course, we had ended last week's episode with, Darion on his closure date with Kai. And so we're getting more information. It's a continuation of the date. We're getting more information that actually they had sex in this condo again. So this condo really is really guilty of crimes. Probably seen more crimes that we are privy to. I hesitate to believe that this is the first time that condo has been used for a crime such as this. Sis, Alexia, I hesitate to believe that. But we're just gonna go with what we can prove. But yeah, if you can prove one, there are probably a couple crimes, a couple times when you felt your intuition kicking in that might have something else might have been going on. Anyway, so back online. Apparently, 4th date, they were intimate in the condo. I think it happened more than once for Kai to feel some sense of ownership, some sense of you owe me. How could you do that to me? I feel like it happened more than once. Last week, we could have said, based on what Kai says, I know in the comments last week, we had used the term allegedly they had been intimate. Well, now both parties have confirmed it. Darion confirms that it happened. So he confirms the cheaterization. And so it's no longer allegedly this occurred. I'm not sure how old Kai is, but I feel like she felt the fact that they had sex gave her some ownership over him. That yes, he wants me, he needs me, we're together, we're an item. Whereas he was using sex to ease his pain. I think I talked about a lever or, some kind of thing, like pressure point last week. but he was using the sex to ease his pain. He was having relationship issues, didn't feel like he could talk to his girlfriend, Alexia. Whatever the excuse was, the sex for him was merely a tool for release. For Kai, she's thinking this is cementing a budding relationship. Honestly, I don't agree with Kai's reasoning and how she went about it and the lack of insight, but it happens. It happens. And ladies, this is when they say, I think, any matchmaker worth their beans or dating coach always says there should be no, physical intimacy before monogamy, before you giving your relationship a name, making sure there's nobody in the picture. Yo, it's like in first date should be, girlfriend. Do you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have somebody who thinks they might be your girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Like, you need to know all the facts up front. Like, is there anybody here in the deck, like waiting in the bleachers, waiting to pop up and say, hey, I oppose? Then it's not time to be physically intimate with that person. And so, Kai jumped the gun because I feel like she thought this was the beginning of a relationship. I don't know if that's worked for her in the past, but I don't know if I would hesitate to say that. Are there stories where they say the first time it did, but not with somebody in deck, not with somebody on hand. He's already got a car in the garage. Where do you want to park your car? Kai was unreasonable. Kai was unrealistic, because even at that point, she's still telling him what he knows. Sis, you weren't paying attention. He clear as day. He wanted to stay with Alexia. You were simply a tool for pleasure. And then she goes on saying, well, you're just staying with Alexia because it's comfortable. That's not your place to assume that. Why are you trying to put thoughts into it? He's not a baby. He's not a child. He's not your son. He's a man, a grown man you met. You miscalculated and misfired. And now you're telling him what he's thinking? No. He did exactly what he wanted to do. Only that now it's apparent to you that you guys had different objectives. Yeah. And then she goes on to say, well, let's call Kai now. And it's thinking like this, behavior like this, that allows men to try and play us against each other. Like, so you want to call Alexia for what reason? Because the truth is here, it's like, so what if he's staying with Alexia because it's comfortable? Yeah, so what if he calls Kai? It doesn't look like he wants to be with, I think the point here is, it doesn't look like he wants to be with Kai. Kai is not his first choice. If things scatter tomorrow, is he coming to Kai for them to have a real relationship? I'm not seeing that right now. She came with an assignment. She knew what her assignment was, essentially completed the assignment. So the assignment was it's like, how when you got A and B, you're gonna choose A, you're gonna choose B. So A, if he chooses me, I've won. B, if he doesn't choose me, I'm gonna blow his spot up. So she blew his spot up and she was happy. So Operation Snitch was accomplished. The assignment was accomplished either way. There were 2 pointers that was going to go either way. And so it's been accomplished. And so she's feeling better. She feels like she's got some power and some closure. I guess the closure because she blew up his spot. So if she didn't get him, she's happy she blew up his spot. So shook his hand and walked off. Yeah, I'm just thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess, Kai, adios. I don't know. But the thing with Kai, I'm not even, I'm not mad at Kai. Because Kai represents, what happens to a lot of women. She represents what a lot of women do. When they're not thinking clearly, they can't see past what they want to eat. They see someone they think is interesting or cute or whatever the case may be, checks a couple boxes for you, but the box that says he's attached, he's in a relationship, is not, you're not paying attention to that, thinking that, well, you're special. I don't know what it is. Well, he wants me, City goes down 300 points. Yes, after this conversation, Darion goes home to let Alexia know what happened. So Alexia is requesting a one-on-one counseling session with Dr. Nicole. And I want to say, like I said, Dr. Nicole knew something had transpired. Maybe not to the extent of it, but something that shouldn't have happened. Or maybe they went a little further. Maybe they crossed a few lines. Something that Dr. Nicole suspects. That's why she insisted that there would be a closure date. And so she starts having a conversation with, Alexia. And what I'm seeing is that Alexia is, she's able to, because Dr. Nicole has a style where, in such a way that she's literally prompting you as your thoughts are processing. For you, you're processing your thoughts, and as you're processing your thoughts, she prompts you to actually, verbalize them, and then you get like, oh wow, it starts to resonate that wow, that's what I was doing. And so Alexia realizes that she would say and do things to go against her intuition. I guess they used the term dishonor herself so she could stay. So she did and said things to convince herself to stay, but knowing in her heart of hearts that it was otherwise, but didn't pay attention to that or dismiss that. I'm doing too much, I'm this and that, maybe I need to be better. Maybe I need to quit, playing basketball and give him more time. Maybe I'm not doing enough. That's why we broke up and he had that baby with someone, I should have done it this way, Maybe I need to, make dinner at 5 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock. So he's gonna come home earlier and not be at the condo with somebody else. And maybe when he's at the condo, he's just falls asleep because he's exhausted. He's not really with someone. Yet she had all these excuses to explain away that nagging, your intuition, that nagging thought like, yo, sis, something isn't right, sis, something isn't right, sis, something isn't right. She buried all the red flags. And everybody listening to my voice, including myself, have we not buried red flags? We have. And so I can understand that, but we always need reminders as to why our intuition is here. And the way we live life in this world today, it's counterintuitive and it works against our intuition, makes us want to ignore our intuition. But intuition is within us for a reason. And I can only speak for women. We as women, I feel like our tool is if we listen to it and pay attention to it, it's finely tuned. We just need to pay attention to it, and it's there to protect us. And I think we need to rely on that more. Because she knew. Because she said she was surprised, because I think she said something about this the first time. She had a confirmation. Like I said at the beginning, at the top, I don't know if this was the first time that it occurred. It's the first time we found out with evidence, and if not for the show, would she have gotten this information? I think she confirms that she wouldn't. And you can understand, you can see her pain, So understandably so, she buried the red flag. She loves this guy. He's like her best friend. She's been with him for a long time, and it's easy and it's comfortable. And they're good things. Like I said, I don't believe in calling people bad people, but our behavior, actions and words, bad behavior, bad words, that's what we're doing. But we're not essentially bad people. So there is some good to, Darion. Maybe his alter ego, Smoke, or whatever he call his rap name is the person, sometimes you like separate it. And I think she separated one too. She separated one time too, almost immediately. But within that conversation, and you hear women say this too, she's thinking about all the time she's put in. But there's something that we've heard before, if we haven't said before, is don't throw good money after bad. You're 34, you've given it 14 years on and off, whatever the on and off was. Do you want to throw in another 10 years before you realize that this is a bad investment? The minute you suspect your investment is not a good investment, stop putting money or time into it. Stop. Walk away. Doesn't mean forever. I'm not saying that because I don't know anything, but walk away. Stop. Don't put any time in it again, and just cut your losses. Exit stage left. That's my 2 cents on that. So they have their one-on-one counseling with Dr. Nicole. So now it is Alexia, Darion, and Dr. Nicole together talking, because from the time he told her what happened, she had him leave the house and she wasn't picking up his calls. She wasn't having a conversation with him. So this is the first time talking since he confessed to her his indiscretion. If we are told that the indiscretion occurred after the 4th date, I'm wondering, like, from the time he agreed to get rid of the condo, was him agreeing to that after he probably agreeing and hearing her for the first time? I'm sure it was after he and Kai had their moment or moments in that condo. That's why for the first time he actually agreed and was listening. Unknowns to her, he had already committed a crime before he trying to, seek absolution. Dr. Nicole, I really like her approach. She's just so calming. And even with Darion, yes, he's so in this situation or in this right now, in this space, technically he's, the bad guy, the villain, but she was very sensitive and understanding of what he too would be going through. And so when he's trying to apologize to Alexia, he doesn't really have anything to say but sorry. But he's frustrated and he's tearing up and he's crying. And Dr. Nicole said something which I think was profound. and which he got too, is like, you can't fix this in one conversation. So we're not saying they will never get back together, but it can't be fixed now. You can't say sorry, and we're going home. And she, Dr. Nicole goes on to explain that it looks like he's, not used to facing consequences of his own behavior. So, after he understood that, he made a commitment to work on himself. And I think looking at this, because, we can all, speculate that Kai was not the first, other than, the break babies he had, that we can speculate that Kai was not the first. But ultimately, Kai was not the problem. Kai was not the reason why they broke up. She was merely a symptom of the problems that were underneath. Because there were problems underneath. Someone can't break up a couple who are solid. So there was stuff there. I'm not giving, Kai absolution or giving Kai an excuse, but I'm saying Kai has her own, but Kai is to the side. Kai's over there. But here, these two, Kai was able to come in because the space was this big. Particularly because it looks like, it wasn't like he was taken by Kai or is in love with Kai, declaring undying love for Kai. But there was a space there and Kai went in. And there's something that Alexia said that really touched me. She said something about, she was glad that they went through the process, even if it was just to help Darion, to make him a better person, to make him a better him. That's true love. So, there's no doubt that even in the midst of her pain, she's happy that it looks like he wants to be a better person. Alexia's a good woman. She's better than me. I'll bring out my Glock at this point. No, I'm just kidding. I won't bring out my Glock. I'll save it for later. But yeah, that was poignant. When you say that, you can love somebody enough to let them go. At this point, I think she's decided that I'm going to let him go. It may not be permanently, but it's going to be for now. And then, she actually decided to have moments, in the Namaste circle. She shows up in the Namaste circle without Darion just to explain to the other couples. I thought that, I don't know if she was asked to do it by the producers, but she agreed anyway. And she, I don't know if it was here that she said that she acknowledged that the condo was not the problem. That they, she's acknowledged to herself now that condo was not the problem. And she now tells them she's not going to continue with Darion. And she declares to herself and to us, I'm a boss. She's now walking into who she was, who she had put to the side, who she had buried. That no, that's not me. The person that was mistreated, I'm not saying he beat her, but he didn't respect her enough. All that happened, that wasn't me. This is me. I'm standing in my circumstances. Yes, she cheated on me, but I'm not dead. I'm alive. She lifted up her shoulders. This is me. I'm a boss. I'm going from strength to strength. Alexia, that was a good exit. Respect. Because sometimes you have to declare it until you make it. So I think I've heard somebody say something about you faith it until you make it. So you stand on your faith. You're not necessarily faking it, but you do faith until you make it. Faith it until you make it. My words, but it makes sense. So she's standing there, she made, because she had said sometime that she felt broken. She felt hurt, but she wasn't gonna live in that space. And so for now, she wants to acknowledge who she is, who she was created to be. After all, Heavenly Father is her father. So she's uniquely and wonderfully made. She may be going through something now, but that's not her story. That's not the end of her story. It's merely the beginning. It's a turn, a corner, and she's now acknowledging the power within her. And that's what we have to do, because, is somebody going to get hurt? Yeah. Is somebody going to get disappointed? Yeah. But are you going to wallow in that disappointment and hurt? Or are you going to stand above the ashes? And that's what she's trying to do with respect. Just everyone's confirming that she chose herself. Guys, Alexia has left. Exit stage left. It's kind of this, the end. It's a little sad, but still a good ending, but sad all the same. I wish you well, sis. I wish you well. Guys, that's the end of this episode. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Lola, over and out.